Hey folks, Nas here. Another episode of Medieval Dynasty for you in our challenge season. I'm going to take a bath because I was dirty. Careful I don't shoot myself with that crossbow. But anyway, let's go on. Let's crouching. Why am I not? I can't sprint. Why can't I sprint now? Oh no. What's going on? I'm focusing that. Okay, that was weird. I didn't realize that after you wash your face while you have the crossbow equipped, it goes into the focus thing and sticks you there. Interesting. Okay, so just little nuances here and there. Anyway, so I have been really grinding out, trying to get food and such for the village to make sure that we're not running out of food. Finally figured out the fishing spear. Let me go into here, go to management. Let's go down to the fishing hut real quick. For whatever reason, I had a real hard time figuring this out. Even though it says fishing spear right here is required and a knife. Now granted, it's given a 0 of hit points. I'm not sure if that's the condition or what. But it seems like every weapon when you look in here, or every tool, excuse me, when you look in the particular building, they all say 0, even if they have the particular tool they need. Now, the fishing spear, I had a real hard time figuring this out. So I'm going to share this now. I could not find where to craft the fishing spear. So then I was thinking, okay, maybe this is a typo. So I made a wooden spear. I ended up making a stone spear, put both of them in the fishing hut. I've now lost about 3.5 days of fishing trying to figure this out because there was no explanation on where to find the fishing spear. So I then started checking the technology and looking through what I would think to be in the survival section. I was looking for a schematic for fishing spear. Well, as you can see, there isn't one. There's even a stone spear, which I purchased to make, thinking, okay, well, they require stone spear or something, because I couldn't find the fishing spear. I went down to the workshop, and I'm like, okay, maybe I missed it in the crafting wheel in the workshop. So I went down to the workshop and I looked in here. Now I'm not, let's see, as long as I'm not crafting something, it won't put me, okay. But I came over here to stone tools and wooden tools. So I went to wooden tools, and of course you look through wooden tools and there is not a fishing spear. So I went to stone tools and I'm looking through here and I'm like, okay, there is no fishing spear. Now that's a stone spear right there. And then there's nothing else. You have archery, and then you've got wicker and wooden, which are going to be your baskets and buckets. Now something else. While this lady is standing here working at the workbench, if I actually craft something while she's working there, it places me inside the workbench and I can't get out. I literally have to do the unstuck, or unless I quick save firsthand. I have to wait for her to not be working in order for me to craft something and it not put me in the workbench. So there's some kind of mechanical issue there. If she's working that bench, I can't work the bench. Otherwise, I get stuck inside it. So back to the fishing spear. So now I'm like, okay, I've run down to the fishing hut, I don't know, 3 or 4 times trying to figure out what that fishing spear is, where it is, how to make it, because I haven't run into that issue before. So when I went down to the fishing hut, I'm like, okay, let me go down and just see if there's a workbench in the fishing hut, because I never really paid attention to whether there was. And I know that there's a workbench in the hunting lodge. Now granted, we can't have the hunting lodge, but I remember that from season 1. But I didn't remember there being a specific tool or weapon that had to be crafted in that particular building. It could usually be crafted either at the workbench or in the smithy. but not just the particular building. And sure enough, when I got down here to the fishing hut and opened up the workbench here, sure enough, there is a fishing spear right there. Does not require the purchase of a schematic, but it cannot be made in any other workbench. It has to be made in this workbench. Now, it might be able to be crafted in the smithy. I don't know, because we can't have the smithy in this particular season, and I haven't logged into my season 1 in quite some time, so I didn't go in there and check that. So for those of you who might be watching that have had that struggle, now you know. If you're watching this and you're not on the public test server, you may not have this issue at this time. And I'm not sure if that's going to be corrected before they send that particular update to the live servers. So just keep that in mind. If you ever run into a situation where you're not producing fish, make sure that you come down here and you craft a fishing spear. So it takes 1 linen thread. Now, I had to use a linen thread to make it, which means that I couldn't make a longbow, because my longbow is at 4% right there in the red. So I grabbed the extra bow. This is the original bow that I was using before I was able to make the longbow. So I grabbed that just in case to use along with the crossbow. So I am still in the process of testing the crossbow. So that gets me to my next thing. The crossbow, if you open your inventory, highlight crossbow, it gives you health points, which in my thinking, this should actually say condition rather than health points. Health points, in my opinion, are for what would be considered living creatures, like the player or the NPCs or bears, deer, fox, so on and so forth. I would think that this should say condition level or something. But anyway, same thing. But it's 400. Now, my thinking, and I believe it was this way during my season 1, and it seems to like it might have changed. I'm not 100% sure because I've never actually tested this. But you're given a health point of 400. But every time you fire a bolt, regardless of whether you're firing it at a tree or an animal or whatever, it takes away 2 points. So you have 200 uses out of this weapon. So what we can do is I can show you real quick. Crossbow, we're at 344 right now. If I take this crossbow and I fire it at this tree, boom. We fired that crossbow at that tree. Go back in here to the crossbow. We are now at 342. So it took away 2 health points just to fire that weapon at that tree. Do I get the... Where'd it go? Tree. And I lost my iron bolt, which has been another issue. It seems like the iron bolts break almost every time. They seem to break or disappear because it's not, I'm using the little Alt button and it's not showing up in that tree. So I'm noticing that I'm losing bolts faster than I was losing arrows with the longbow. Now granted, I was very excited to get this crossbow, but it seems to be problematic at best at this point. Then it doesn't appear to do a great deal more damage than the longbow. Now granted, rabbits, yes, it'll kill a rabbit first go. A fox, it's going to depend on whether you hit it in the body or in the head. Deer, I shot one deer in the head, it killed it instantly. I shot the next deer in the head, and I had to put 4 more arrows in that deer before it fell. So it's seeming very inconsistent to where the crossbow, in my mind, should be a very consistent damage output. Because you can only draw it back to 1 point each time, as opposed to the longbow that you have to draw it completely back to get its full damage. So there seems to be some work that needs to be done on the damage output. And then, of course, the health points or condition of the weapon. If you're going to give a weapon 400 health points, then why take away 2 points per use? Why not just give that weapon 200 health points and take away 1 point per use? That way people don't have to do confusing math, even though it's simple math, to figure out how many uses are left. Now granted, if nobody knows about that, they're going to pick that up and they're going to think, oh shoot, yeah, I got 400 uses out of that. And then they're going to wonder why it seems like it has disappeared and the damage has gone down rather quickly, or the health points has gone down rather quickly. So if that is the case, then the longbow, which is 200, which I haven't tested yet, I don't know if it loses 2 points per use or not. Now I'm going to end up going and buying some more linen threads because I want to make a new longbow, but for all intents and purposes, let's go to the longbow, and I have to equip those arrows. I don't want to lose an iron arrow. Let's lose a stone arrow. And we are sitting at, let's double check that, longbow, we are sitting at 9 health points. So let's shoot this arrow at this tree. We're fully drawn back. Now see, I did not lose that arrow. I can actually see it in the tree. You may not be able to see that, but it's right there. So I did not lose that arrow. So I understand that losing or breaking an arrow is a chance situation because they don't actually show loss of condition in your inventory. So now let's check the longbow. Now the longbow went down 1 point for use. So the longbow, if this is the case, let's shoot one more. Let's see if it's just a fluke that we lost 1 point. Fully drawn back. Again, we did not lose that arrow. Longbow, we lost 1 point. So as far as use, the longbow is 1 point loss per use at 200 health points, to where the crossbow is 2 points lost at 400, which makes it the same use as the longbow. You're going to get 200 uses out of the longbow, you're going to get 200 uses out of the crossbow. And the crossbow loads slower and doesn't appear to do any different damage. I mean, it's very inconsistent as far as the damage output. So at this particular time, I have to say that I am disappointed that I even bought the crossbow, because it does not appear to be much more superior than the longbow. That's my problem. Now, let's check the regular bow as far as usage, because you can see it's a 100 use and it's currently at 49. I believe it is also 1 point per use. So let's do that. We've already got stone arrows equipped. Let's equip the regular bow. Did I get my... Yeah, I got those arrows back. Okay, so let's go and do this. Fully drawn back, shoot that tree. I think that arrow broke. I actually heard it crack. Let's go to the bow. So we're at 48. We'll do one more time. We'll test it one more time. So it appears that the bow... Okay, we didn't lose that one. And we're down to 47. So the bow is also 1 point per use. So again, why is the crossbow 2 points per use? And why do you not get more uses out of the crossbow than you do the longbow? Why does the condition go down the same? I don't know. It takes... I mean, the thing is made with iron. It should last longer, in my opinion. And then, yeah, the damage on it is compared to the longbow, the damage on it is mediocre at best. But we're going to continue to use it because I bought it. It does work very nicely on smaller animals. So like the fox. If I get a headshot on a fox, more times than not so far, it drops the fox. As to where with the longbow, if I hit this fox in the head with the longbow, it didn't always kill it the first time. So what we're going to do is we're going to go, I've got the crossbow in 2 here. I don't have any bolts equipped. So I'm down to like 5 iron bolts. That's all I've got. I haven't been over to the crash cart in a long time to pick up any more bolts. I probably need to start making a trip over there periodically. And let's see if I can find something. Okay, so here's a deer and a fox. So even though our damage or our hit points on the animals is increased, this should do a drastic amount of damage. Let's see if I can target this guy and hit him in the head. Turn your head around here, buddy. Come on. Now see, it did drop that deer that time. But when I hit a buck with it, it took so much. There's my iron bolt there. Okay, no, that's a stone. That was interesting. I picked a stone up and then automatically skinned this. That was weird. All right, I got my iron bolt back. All right, there's a fox. Let's see if we can equip this before the fox runs off. And if I get a headshot on the fox, it drops him. So that's good. And I still got my iron bolt back. Okay. Now, if I can find a buck, so you saw, I mean, I would imagine a doe and a buck probably have 2 different hit points. Now, granted, this seems to be working okay today. Let's see, is there any... I need to find another deer. Let me go find another deer. All right, there's another doe, right? Yeah, that's a doe up there. Okay, so it's doing good now. Okay, so when I first got this, after the last episode, I went and did some testing on it, and it was doing very crappy. So, I do want to find a buck, because that's what I had trouble with. I shot a buck in the head, and I turned around, had to pause, re-equip my arrows for my longbow, and I ended up putting, I don't know, 4 or 5 more arrows in him before he dropped. So let's go and see if I can find a buck and try and test this again. Alrighty, here, we got a buck right here. Just in the trees. So let's see here. I was trying to get a good aim on him here. Okay, that is completely different result than what I had the first time. That is crazy. And I lost my iron bolt on that one. Okay. So I think we're clearly going to have to make some wooden bolts because I am just not going to be able to get over and get iron bolts every day over at the crash cart. Okay, so the damage out of this does seem like it's better. I don't know if the damage falls off with distance. So if I am farther away, like I can barely see a doe over there, but okay, it's just above there. Let's see if I can actually hit it. Okay, that's good. All right, so maybe it was just some kind of funky little thing from when I picked this up. Okay, so there's an iron bolt there. This is good that I'm testing these because I desperately need this meat because we don't have wheat available to us, and I don't think that we're going to have wheat available to us until spring or summer. Now granted, it's planted, it's in the ground, along with some of the onion. So once we have wheat available, I can start looking at doing some of the flatbread maybe to see how efficient that's going to be. Okay, so this is working consistently much better than it was when I first tested. However, the condition, you still only get 200 uses out of this weapon and 200 uses out of the crossbow. And I'm still not completely convinced about the damage. So let's see. Let's try to find, much as I really don't want to test it on a Wysant, I think we probably need to, because we have been hunting Wysant quite a bit. So there's one over there. Is that his head? I think that's his head. Oh, now he's going to move. I should have shot. Dang it. I don't want to try and shoot him while he's moving because I literally only have a couple of these left. Alright, quit moving. Oh, there's another one right up there. Load, 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 load. And run. And I'm out. That's all I've got. Okay, so let's get some iron arrows equipped. And we're gonna do this one. Where'd he go? There he is. There we go. Okay. So we got, what did we get? 2 bolts in him. And then 1 arrow from the regular bow. I think that was right. Yeah, there's a bolt there. And there's a bolt there. And then 1 arrow, and we dropped him. So the damage is there. Because usually it takes us about 5 arrows straight to the head on the Wysant. Oh, I see the other Wysant right over there. Let's back up a little bit. I am not ready to do that one. Okay, so that's good though. Let's see, we got iron arrows. So that was 2 iron arrows from the regular bow. Excuse me, no. 1 iron arrow from the regular bow and 2 iron bolts from the crossbow. Now I started this, I think I had 5 or 6 of those iron bolts. Now I'm down to 2. But anyway, I just wanted to make a video on that, quick video, to kind of show you what I was experiencing with the crossbow. Mainly the hit points. The hit points really bothered me because I was thinking that it was going to be 400 uses out of the crossbow, and it's only 200. So you lose 2 points per use with the crossbow. So I don't know. I still not 100% convinced that the money spent on the crossbow is worth it. Now granted, it does seem that the damage is there, but now granted, it's been a couple of days since I recorded the last episode. And after the last episode, I went and I shot some deer and stuff in Fox, and the damage that day was not what it is today. So I don't know whether it was some kind of a glitch because I hadn't reloaded after I bought it or what, but it was clearly not putting out the damage. Matter of fact, it was putting out so little damage compared to what it should be, you know, that it was frustrating me quite a bit. But anyway, we tested the crossbow. I think the crossbow is going to work out okay for us. But we do need to keep a second bow on hand just because of the speed it takes to reload it. So like if we're hunting Wysant, we may not use the crossbow to hunt Wysant. We may switch back to the longbow to hunt Wysant because it's more consistent, because it's not going to drop them in one hit, or the crossbow won't drop them in one hit. But we can hunt like deer. I think the crossbow is going to be really nice to hunt deer with. Because if I can get the headshot on the deer, it drops them in one shot. And we've done that consistently in this video, which is good. That'll give us more options to get meat incoming to the village to make more pottage and stew or whatever to, you know, to kind of combat this this food, the food issue that we're having right now until they fix that. And I hope that they do fix that pretty soon. Because granted, I mean, we're on the test server and everything right now. So hopefully they fix that before they send it out to the live servers. But anyway, I appreciate you folks joining me for this episode. Make sure to hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. It definitely helps the channel out a lot. And we will see you folks on the next one. You take care and happy hunting.